Hey guys, welcome to Confessions of the Idiots. Everybody wants to confess, but not everyone wants to hear them. Today I am joined by Judith, Lucy and Andrea Powell. Now you might hear in my voice I am a little bit sick. I've been hocked up on pseudoephedrine all week. I better keep this very quick because I feel like I'm on a cloud and I might start to say some pretty weird shit. Today I am joined by Judith, Lucy and Andrea Powell, two great people. We sat in Andrea's place in her living room, so I do apologise if the sound is a little bit echoey. Done our best to minimise that, but there might be a little bit. They were absolutely fantastic, and at one point we'd had quite a few wines while we were recording, so apologise if there's a little bit of slurring going on. I don't think there is. I'll probably still make more sense than I do right now, hocked up on the pseudo. This is Confessions of the Idiots with Andrea Powell and Judith Lucy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Confessions of the Idiots with Sam Peterson. Welcome to Confessions of the Idiots. Today I'm joined by Andrea Powell.
Hello.
Hello. And Judith Lucy.
Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Both national treasures.
Oh,
Welcome.
indeed.
Oh, yeah.
Living national treasures.
Living
Hello,
national
everyone.
treasures.
Oh,
Hello.
hi. I forgot about you.
This podcast is about confessions. Are you guys big on confessions?
Well, we're Catholics.
Yeah.
We know all about confession.
You
Oh,
went
my
to
God.
confession
The
when
amount
you-
of lies I told in the confessional as a child would make your hair curl.
Just because you had to
Makes
come
sense.
up with some?
Yes, you did. You did. You had to
did.
go in as little children and confess for your sins.
And come out as women.
Well, no. You come
Well,
out as...
yes, we were molested in the confessional, so it was a tricky way to lose your virginity. But anyway, it's made us who we are today, Sam.
It's always my first question.
Yeah.
Were you molested and how?
Yeah, many times, but at least we had some Hail Marys to say afterwards, and that was very
Exactly.
soothing.
Do you remember any confessions that you came up with in the just to get by?
Yeah, totally. I used to say all the time that I'd been rude to my mother and that I'd had a fight with my brother and that I'd had bad thoughts about someone, and they were all just made up. I mean, of course,
And
it was
of
rude
course
to my
I
mother.
said, well, I killed someone.
Yeah.
Which was
Every
true. But yeah, which, for an 8-year-old was surprising. But, thank heavens I've left those serial killing days behind.
Yeah, that's good.
Still know where the bodies are buried though, so that's another story.
Right. In Perth, though, so who cares?
How many Hail Marys and Our Fathers did you get for that?
Oh, a lot. But no, I did exactly the same thing. And, you'd say you'd stolen a Mars bar or
Yeah.
you really just had to pull something out.
Did you say you stole something?
I can't. Well, again, I'd done nothing
Just a
wrong.
Mars bar.
So what have you done?
I think I was really stealing things, though, so I was
Yes,
going to be
you
confessing
would have
to
been.
that.
So Judith was confessing for you.
Okay.
So the first one comes from Monica V. So Monica confesses, the only reason I brought my friend to a haunted house that was pitch black, dark and crowded was so that I could punch her in the face without her ever knowing it was me.
Well, one of us is really enjoying that story.
Now,
That's really evil.
That's a ridiculous extent as well to go, like really wanting to punch your friend in the face, but going, I'm going to buy tickets to a haunted house.
I've
first.
got many questions.
Yeah.
For starters, I'm loving the fact that Monica felt the need to say that the haunted house was pitch black.
Dark and crowded.
I think we might have put all of that together. I think she could have gone straight to so I could punch my friend in the face.
Yes.
And I guess then I'm just breaking down the sentence friend and punch in the face.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
yeah.
if you want to punch your friend in the face, could be time to cut that friend loose.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I don't know about you, but I haven't heard of that many ghosts that go around punching people in the face.
Very good point.
During those
Yeah.
haunted house tours.
A part
I've
of
never
the
heard of
ghost
anyone
train.
being assaulted.
No.
So-
No one really gets hurt, do they?
No, I mean, the ghost train is really just what a bit of gauze goes
Yeah.
over your face as you're whizzing past, doesn't it? Or you,
Yeah.
A bit of cellophane.
Bit of
and a bit of a,
cellophane.
woo!
Oh, yeah.
Lord Christ! Who just king hit me?
Yeah.
What-
No, exactly.
One of my
Jesus, I think I might need to get my jaw realigned.
Ambulance!
One of my friends decided it would be really funny to go to Witches and Britches once. They thought it would be a really funny
Yeah,
experience.
we felt the same way about Dracula's and similarly disappointed.
Aren't you
I'm sure.
disappointed?
Oh, was yours a long night? Because ours seemed to go for 10 hours.
We left halfway through and the lady behind the
done.
counter went, I don't blame you.
Wow.
That's how much she loved her job.
Yeah.
But it was really weird as well because you think it's going to be funny and one of those experiences where you think it's going to be hilarious the whole night. But after about 10 minutes, you go...
You've seen it.
And you go, a lot of these people don't find this very funny. Like, a lot of people aren't here for the same reason, which makes it really sad. Like,
Yeah.
they're lapping it up and loving it.
Well, the night we were at Dracula's, it was packed.
Yes.
And
Wow.
from what I can gather, like, it's always packed.
Yes.
And I don't know if you remember this, but a guy came up to me before we went in, and he was a drama teacher, a high school drama teacher from Perth, and he brought his students over from Western Australia
my
to see the
goodness.
show at Dracula's. I suppose to go, kids, if you stick with it,
This
these
could
are
all be
the
yours.
heights that you can come to.
A theatre
Heights you can
restaurant.
arrive at.
Our drama teacher, Judith, the drama teacher that taught Judith and I at Santa Maria Ladies College in Perth, Hal Davies, would never have taken us
No.
to see Dracula's or Witches and Britches.
But a theatre restaurant, that's the worst you can do as an
Although,
actress.
you know what?
a gig.
We were there because Ash Flanders was there. Mike McLeish has worked at
Sure.
Dracula's. Very talented people can
We,
work
we
there,
went
but-
there because Ash
Gatsby was
Flanders
There you go.
had a role in that particular run of Dracula's, and now look at him. He's winning awards and he's in all sorts of stuff. So it was. The
more
performers were fine. It was
mystifying.
just,
the script was just...
oh, it was atrocious.
At one point...
Was
There was
there a
nothing
script?
about Dracula's.
Yeah, there actually
It was all just bawdy stuff, wasn't
yeah,
it?
at one point Ash had to do stand-up as Adolf Hitler. Remember that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Most of
Is that funny for even a minute?
no. Again, he gave it his best shot.
Sure.
Yeah, he did do a good job.
But no, most of it was just...
Oh, what
you
about the
just
giant?
were going, what is this?
There were giant styrofoam genitals.
Sure.
So it was all
Classic.
just, about, it was just awful.
And
The
what-
best bit
the
was you did get to catch the ghost train from the bar end.
Oh, that was great.
you remember that?
Yeah,
Yes.
that was fun.
Well, it's...
But the food.
Oh, is that what you call it?
Was that the worst performance of the night? The
It was
chef?
The worst performance of the night was, the guy in the kitchen pretending to be a chef.
Oh God, that's awful. I just remember just thinking how depressing it was, and that,
Yeah.
and the show that I saw as well at Witches and Britches, it was a lot about, there was a guy dressed as a huge inflatable penis, and I was just thinking, what has this got to do with witches or
Well, that's
britches?
it.
Yeah.
That's
What
what
has
we
this
were
got to
wondering
do?
about the giant vulva that we saw in our show. What's that got to do with Dracula? You know?
Sounding like a Peaches gig.
But neither of you got punched in the face.
No.
That's the
So
lesson
there
we
you
take
go.
Right,
away.
okay, there we go.
There we
So
go.
sorry. So Monica is a
Monica
little
needs
bit
help.
evil.
Is
Yeah.
what I'm going to say. Monica
Yeah.
needs to visit a therapist.
Yeah,
She does.
She needs better friends.
And
She needs
her
help
friends
now.
need protection.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next confession comes from CK Internet, which is probably not their actual name. Now,
Really?
CK writes, I own a Corolla sedan. We've all got stuff going on, CK. As you might already know, even if you
That's
have
not me urinating. I just want to make that clear. That's me just filling up a
It
glass.
did actually sound a little bit
Yes,
like
that's
that.
why
We're
I
recording
thought
this
I
in the
should
bathroom because you never know when
mention it.
Jude's going to go.
Yes,
Because-
I'm menopausal. Anything could happen.
Because I'm pouring it from my marvellous, what would you call that?
A jug.
Jug
If you're going to buy it, a
that
jug.
that I bought in Rome a couple of years ago.
It's a very stylish
goodness.
jug.
Thank
I'll,
you,
I'll
yes,
give you
but
that.
It does
we've got-
sound like a urinal when you're pouring.
We got CK Internet bragging about the Corolla and you bragging about buying a jug in Rome.
Yeah, I do own a Toyota Starlet, so.
Is
yeah.
that the end of the
don't.
confession?
No.
Oh, okay.
I own
Sorry,
a Corolla
I-
sedan. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I thought, I don't know anything about cars. I thought, I don't know.
As you might already know, even if you have no knowledge of cars, is that they're very common. Right? One night, I came home drunk and remembered that I had left some prescription medication that I really needed in the car. I tried opening it. Nothing. Again, nothing. I tried it for 10 or so minutes, but couldn't get in. I became quite desperate, and
I
being
think
a
we can all see where this is going.
Yeah.
But do go on.
but being a hypochondriac, I was really worried and tried to pick the lock. Not being a locksmith, I found this quite difficult.
Oh,
I don't
gosh,
think
I'm
you need to
really
explain.
hoping he put his head through the windscreen and died. Is that the confession?
Well,
Sorry, go-
yeah.
He
Or
wouldn't be
that
writing
he's
it, I
become
don't
a
think.
professional writer because he really knows how to spin a yarn. I'll give him that.
After about 20 minutes, I picked up a rock and broke the window. My medication was nowhere to be found.
Oh.
I started to walk back inside to call the RACV, so he's gotten over the medication
So he could have
very
called
quickly.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
RCV earlier. Yeah. This is all just sounding like a big pile
I think
of BS.
CK's confession is that he's a fuckwit.
Yeah.
That's all it should
Needs
say.
stronger
So,
meds.
yeah.
Oh, that's cruel. People can't help being
Anyway,
out of sorts.
call the RACV and
Nice
replace my window.
save.
Yeah, really good. I think I got away with that. Do you?
Jude, pretend you're peeing
was
again.
good.
Go. I also wanted roadside assistant.
Why?
I don't understand. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's
It
him going to the
sounds
loony
sexual.
bin. Yeah. I also wanted a bit of
I
roadside
know what
assistance, if you know what I mean.
RACV
Yeah.
roadside assistance is.
don't think that's what he needed.
It's basically they turn up to start your car, and if he's just broken into the windscreen, I don't.
It's not really going to help.
No.
No.
So
As I walked back
perhaps
towards...
he did need some roadside assistance.
Just depends how you
Hanging
say it.
together, this whole thing. But anyway, let's see if there's an ending.
As I walked back towards my house, it dawned upon me that a car of the same make was parked just a tiny bit down the road. No, not a car of the same make, my own
Oh,
car.
get out of town.
No one saw that coming.
Wow!
saw that
What a dickhead!
Have any of you ever broken in somewhere? Have you broken in?
I've told you I've stolen a Band-Aid to,
You've broken into a packet of Band-Aids.
Broken in?
Avoid, stealing
No,
that.
I've never
absolutely
broken
not.
in. No, I mean
Yeah.
I've stolen heaps.
She really has.
Really?
I just want to confirm that. She really
She's really
has.
stolen a lot
Not
of
from
shit.
anyone I know, but just from some shops.
Yeah, just some shops. You don't know shops, so it's fine.
Just I don't have shops over for tea very often, so I don't meet them in
shops
bars.
are people too.
Yeah, are they? No, they're not. But no, I've never broken in anywhere.
Okay,
No.
well, that's quite good. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Have you?
No, I've never broken in anywhere.
Yeah, we're not being ears
No.
of this table, are we?
We're
no.
really not.
No.
No,
We're
that
all
desperate.
right.
You call someone. Yeah,
I'll
get
call
a
roadside
professional over.
assistance
Yeah.
for everything.
Yeah,
I've hurt my back. Roadside
I'm going to
assistance.
call them later on tonight.
So confession number 3 comes from Celia. Celia writes, I work in an office. I think we bored Andrea because she just walked
Yeah, she's
off.
just gone. Fair enough.
The name's Celia. She's off. She's done.
Yeah.
I work in an office.
some wine.
I work in an office with a guy that I hate. Right, pretty much describes
Oh,
every
God,
job.
Oh
there.
God, yes.
All been there.
Oh, I'm sitting next to one, at work at the moment.
I think because I'm sitting next to one now.
no.
Like you're hating this podcast so much.
I'll be honest with you, I thought that's where we're
Yeah.
going as well.
I work in an office with a guy that I hate. I tried to get along with this guy for about 2 months and then gave in.
2 months is fair.
2 months is a long
Yeah, I think
time.
Yeah,
that's a fair
to
crime.
Yeah.
try to
Yeah.
like someone.
Yeah.
He's doing well.
I give it about 5 minutes. When he goes to lunch, he insists we have it all at the same time, only to bore me with talk of his renovations. Oh, Andrea, we know someone
Oh
like that.
my goodness.
And tell me how I could come over and have some drinks. He was always very suggestive and made me very uncomfortable.
Oh.
Something I knew about him was that he hated nuts, right? Only because he would tell me and anybody in earshot every single day. He would often berate other staff members if they were eating a packet of nuts.
Great. This guy's just asking for it.
Yeah.
I think he sounds a little bit crazy, though, to berate someone over nuts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he would go on and on about it.
I
So-
have berated someone for eating a banana near me
Have
because
you?
I can't stand the smell of bananas.
Someone that you knew?
Anyone.
Or these shops people you keep going on about?
No, people I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you don't like bananas, that's fair enough.
Yeah, because
No,
they
it's
stink.
it's actually not. But anyway.
If someone's eating a banana.
Yeah, so, don't worry about the cigarette, but put that banana out. That's disgusting.
If they're smoking it.
Yes.
So
Anyway, I think we know what Celia's going to get up to.
yeah, he would go on and on about it. So one day I finished my snack and placed a few little nuts in his sandwich pack. When he came for lunch, he looked sad. His brother had been in an accident and he didn't even get to finish his sentence because of his allergic reaction to the nuts in his sandwich. That's right, he didn't hate nuts, he was allergic. I still feel bad to this day, but I have never told a soul.
So who was involved in an accident?
His brother.
His brother. So she hated him. He came to work one day when she had decided to put nuts in his sandwich.
Yeah.
He was looking sad. She felt bad instantly because this is not the day to almost kill a man.
Yeah, I was going to say, wouldn't you put it together if
Yeah.
someone's got a thing about nuts that
Yeah.
they're probably allergic?
Yeah, not
Yeah.
just like you, Andrew, who just hates people eating bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not allergic to bananas, but if you'd shoved one in my face,
Oh, they'd be hell to pay.
yeah, they would. Look, I think that was
I
awful.
think that was poorly judged. I
Yeah,
have
you
to
think
say.
so?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what it is? Because I worked with someone who was really unpleasant many years ago. It was when I lived in London at Citroen Cars. What a great job that was. God, I hated it.
Well, you got to make a lot of free phone calls to me.
That's very true. I had free reign with the old telephonic communique there. I just used to call Australia almost every day and just
Really?
have
Do they
people
ever
on
cotton on to
hold
that?
while I did other things. Oh, there was almost an investigation of a bill, but I was
Sure.
really friendly with this wonderful woman in accounts who was this great Irish girl, Angela, and she warned me that they were investigating the bill.
Right.
So I prepared for being sacked, and then they said that they just didn't bother investigating and they just paid it. Because back then, bills weren't itemised.
Oh, the
Right.
heady days.
I know, the
of
heady
where
days
you could
of
rip your
unitemised-
employer off so much more easily.
Day in, day out.
International phone calls now are so cheap, but back
Yeah.
then it was
Ooh.
thousands. It was their bill was up by 2,000, and they were querying
She
it.
was sticking it to the man.
Yeah, I
and
love
it was
that.
all me. Anyway,
Bananas
this
or the
horri-
workplace? I want to get
horrible-
Andrea started.
Horrible woman. Can't remember her name now, but she was a horrible, caustic woman. And she just rubbed everyone up the wrong way, and she was really negative and a pain in the ass. Anyway, I photocopied my bum and stuck it in her in tray. And she went
An oldie but a goodie.
wild Monday morning and ran around trying to find out who did it. And then a week later, one of the car sales guys, Andy, I think his name was, photocopied his erect penis
Nice.
and put that in her in tray. Didn't she go wild?
Really? Put his erect penis in her in tray.
Yeah. What? Whoa. She was pretty happy after that. She was a completely different woman.
Bit of roadside assistance, am I right? That's it.
Anyway, that was very long-winded.
Just
But
a
that's
big
how
thing.
I like to deal with unpleasant employees.
I just like it how he became erect while photocopying his.
Oh. I think he
something
may have
going
been
on with him.
slightly more involved than that. I wasn't watching. I just saw the end result.
Well, that always makes me think of a particular person we used to work with in Perth, Andrea. A lovely gentleman called Vince.
Oh, my God.
Vince. Who was Vince?
Vince was the head waiter at a restaurant called Faster Pasta that Judith and I both worked at in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yes.
Something like that. And Vince was Vince was a sleazy little fucker. He had shocking acne. Remember that? And he just used to
Yes.
come to work with some kind of weird, greasy sort of
Was he quite young? Was
cream
he-
all over
He was
his
a bit
face.
older than us, actually.
Right.
He was
He's so
and
arrogant.
The other thing was that the family, because it was a family-run business, and their son actually had leukemia. It was leukemia, wasn't it? Anyway,
Jeremy.
and who was lovely, and that was awful. Vince used to kick every day off with a bong. Vince was just stoned the
Right.
entire time, but would tell these lovely people that ran the restaurant that he too had some kind of mystery illness, which would account for maybe his vagueness,
Yeah.
or you know,
or
any-
him being late because he was
Yes,
always late.
late.
Yeah.
So
Even though he was maitre d', so he should be there early.
yeah, and there was a particular lunch, and I'd actually stopped
it was a
working
Friday
there.
lunch.
And Friday, you know, they did a lot of business lunches. teachers. So it was the very busiest time of the whole week. And I'll
Sure.
handball it over to Andrea because I wasn't actually there at this
Oh,
point.
well, I just remember
That's a
that.
good way to handball the story over. I wasn't there.
I wasn't there.
That this lovely people, their son who had leukemia used to run the bar, and he had all of these orders lined up along the bar that he'd fulfilled. Like there were trays of drinks to go out, and they were all Vince's customers. Now all these drinks just sitting there, and Vince was just like, Jeremy was like, "Where's Vince? Where's Vince?" And we're like, "We can't find him," and his tables weren't being looked after.
Yeah.
Vince had just disappeared in the middle of this incredibly busy service, and so Jeremy went into the bathroom to see if he was in there, if he was unwell, and heard some noises emanating from one of the cubicles that made it quite apparent that Vince was in there knocking one off.
And
Just
who
masturbating.
hasn't seen a garlic bread or a spaghetti marinara and thought, I've got to get to the crapper and just rub one out.
Especially the place called Faster Pasta.
Yeah.
A family restaurant's always the place I go to.
They always give you the horn, right?
Always.
These bar and par places.
We've all been there,
Jesus.
Vince. I've been at La Porchetta a few nights, if you guys know what I mean.
That's why I had to stop going to Nando's. Yeah,
Oh, amazing.
that was a fun story.
How long did
Yeah.
you guys work at Faster Pasta for?
Oh.
Is that a lifelong ambition?
Sam, I'd like to tell you the heartwarming story of how I actually started working there as a cleaner. And I worked my way up to
Oh.
maitre d', young man.
To this day.
And then Ange started working there, and then another friend of ours, Andrew, started working there.
Oh, that's right, yes. Remember the guy with the garlic butter? Oh, there were some interesting people in the kitchen.
The guy with the garlic butter.
Well, we
Sounds
were
like
pretty
the
young
girl
and
with the
innocent.
dragon tattoo. It's a new novel coming out soon.
There was a really hot perhaps this isn't really good for the podcast, but there was a really hot guy, and the God, he was hot though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And we were pretty
Hotter
young
than
and
Vince.
innocent.
And he was
Vince
The
was
description of
hideous.
this
Yeah,
sounds
no,
amazing.
it's-
Oh no, he was just hideous.
Yeah, but this guy was, and he was very funny too.
He was really
Right.
funny, and one day he was just squeezing garlic into this huge bowl of butter for the garlic bread. And while he was doing that, he said, "Hey girls," called us over and asked us if we'd seen a film called Anal, Anal, Anal.
As he held up his fists covered with butter.
Yeah.
Oh, they were great days.
And great people that you work with. Are you still
It
in
sounds
contact?
like we were in a porn movie, that the whole thing was
Kind of does, actually.
kind of
There was nothing
anyway.
sexy about that
No,
restaurant.
there really
And
wasn't.
had you seen Anal?
Strangely, no.
No, it's
Still
the
haven't crossed that off
18-year-old.
my list. But anyway.
We'll have to go to the Nova sometime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked in a restaurant for 2 weeks before I got fired because they found out I couldn't do anything that I said I could. I think I
beautiful.
said when I first moved to Melbourne, I said to them, this is my first job interview, I said I could carry 3 plates. I could barely carry 1. And I just wasn't going well at all. And there was this lady I remember that came every day. Every day she'd come for lunch. And she'd always come there at the same time every day. And she had a date lined up. And she'd get very excited. But every day the date wouldn't turn up. Right.
well, this
It's
is
very
very
sad.
sad.
And so they always called her the Lonely Heart, and she'd go there, and her friend lived
God,
across
this is
the road.
heartbreaking.
And so her friend would often come in her pajamas, and just sit with her for a while and everything. And I felt really bad for her. I was like, this
I'm
is
concerned
heartbreaking.
about the friend sitting there in the pajamas.
Yeah, I'm
but
thinking
anyway,
there's
this is-
maybe a clinic nearby
Yeah,
that the two of
well.
them maybe were residents of.
Well, it would make sense for the end of this story because I walked
sorry.
up to her one day and my heart went out to her and I was like, 2 lonely hearts. But I was like, yeah, I'll go and talk to her one day. And this was about 5 times seeing this. And I went and sat down with her and I was like, hey, would you like me to sit down with you? We could have a coffee? And she said, go fuck yourself.
Oh,
And I was like, I hope you are lonely
bless.
forever.
go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes, that's a beautiful story.
That's-
You guys felt sorry for her for a little while, but I brought it back.
You really did.
Did initially, but yeah, when
Yeah.
the friend with the pajamas came in,
Yeah,
that's
that was-
when alarm bells started to go
Yeah.
off for me. You
Yeah.
too? Yeah.
Yeah, someone
So,
walking around in pajamas
little
is
bit
never
crazy.
good.
No,
Especially in the
when-
middle of the day.
And a regular thing. I'll just
Yeah.
pop into the restaurant in my gym jam.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That
And
was
see
her
how
thing.
my friend's going whose date hasn't turned up
Yeah,
yet again.
again.
Again, 5 times, God. Hey, so are you guys
Yeah.
ready for another confession?
Sure.
Right. I'm so glad you guys said yes, otherwise I'd have to come with another reason to do that.
No.
No. This confession comes from Gert. Gert writes, last year I was mugged.
Oh.
The whole experience was quite horrible, and a few days later I decided to smoke a whole bag of marijuana with a friend of mine.
Fair enough.
That's when I saw the person who mugged me with my bag.
What?
Yes, I don't know where she was smoking this. Maybe at Nando's.
Oh dear.
So a whole bag of marijuana. I don't know how big this bag was.
Yeah, so I'm already wondering, was it really her
Yes,
bag?
I'm wondering if we're going back to Toyota Corolla
Yes, that's what I'm
territory.
thinking.
I decided, as stoned as I was, it was now or never to attack the person and retrieve my... Okay. I love it how you go. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, really well thought through.
With my much-loved bag.
It's interesting that they say that marijuana is a passive drug, isn't it? I guess it really depends on your
Not when
state
the
of
first
mind.
thought is attack. The muggee had suddenly become the mugger. I don't think that's ever been a sentence for a good reason. Long story short, it turns out that there are more than one of these bags in the world, and after breaking an innocent person's nose, I decided now was a great time to give up smoking pot.
I simply don't believe a word of that.
And I agree with her that now would be a good time to smoke.
Yes.
I
Stop
think
smoking.
that's
I think
happened
that's
in her
stuff and
head.
nonsense.
I think she should
Oh.
give up pot, though. I think
Yeah.
that's probably true. But yeah, I think that's all rubbish.
Unless she...
How do you break someo's nose getting a bag
Yeah,
back? Where was the
when
bag
you're
on their face?
stoned, I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, I don't
Give
like
it a
Gert.
rest, love.
Oh, Gertie.
Try harder.
Yep, send something into the Reader's Digest up there, because this is just bullshit.
Yes, I'm going to suggest that she does still smoke, and she did at an enormous doobie before she wrote that bit of nonsense.
But this segment is called The Confessional, where Andrea has 3 confessions, Judith, and
I'm
she'll
a
read them.
priest.
Yeah, and you're
How
a priest.
exciting. A dream come true.
And you have to guess which one is true. So only one of these
Well,
is
this is
true.
going to be tough because you and I go back a very long way, Ange.
I know. It's been really tough. And there were a number of things I sent to Sam during the week, and then I realised, well, that's no good because she'll know that's me.
And you
So-
were there for one of them.
Indeed,
Yeah,
I was.
well, she was there for several others as well. And also I've told her some. But anyway, dear Father Judith, I have sinned. It has been
How long since your last
It's been
confession, my
about
child?
30 odd years since my last confession. Number one, once I was so exhausted after a day working at transcribing that at lunch I started writing on a podcast I was listening to. I still have the first few lines of that transcription and for some reason cannot bring myself to throw it out.
So that's number 1, Judith.
Yeah.
Number
Hang
one.
on, I don't understand that.
No. Well, when you're transcribing, and this has happened to me before,
Yeah.
when you're not transcribing, you're just listening to something else. You can actually just start typing it
Oh,
out.
okay. So you were listening to a podcast.
Yeah, and then
instead
just
of-
started typing it
Right.
because I was listening to it at
Yeah,
my desk
okay.
with my headphones into my phone, listening to a podcast, and then just turned to my computer and started typing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're there, Judith?
Yeah,
in the
I'm
moment?
there. I'm there. I'm thinking that's such a bad story. It has to be true. But anyway, let's
It's
go on.
really poor. Number 2. Once I pretended I was stoned and unconscious so I could avoid having sex with a guy I'd invited over for sex.
It's number 2.
I feel I would know that.
She transcribed the whole thing.
Number 3. At a school fete, I wrapped up little bits of broken items that I didn't want anymore. I set up a lucky dip and made about $4 before disgruntled customers started to come back demanding a refund. I had already spent the $4 on pollywaffles, so didn't have their money.
Now there's
Is
3
it
options.
number
there.
1, exhausted after a day of transcribing? I started transcribing someone's podcast. Number 2,
Judith loved that
pretended
story.
to
I
be
did.
unconscious and stoned to avoid having sex with someone I'd actually invited over to have sex.
See, that is believable, but I just feel I would know it.
Or number 3, did I sell some broken items at a school fete and spend the money on pollywaffles before disgruntled customers wanted their money back? 1, 2 or 3?
That's
Well, I'll give you this, Miss Powell.
Oh, it's good, Sam. You've done well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard because usually the guests that I've had on don't know each other as well as you guys know each other. And
Yes.
you do tell each other everything.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, there's always a chance I've heard a story and simply forgotten it.
And in the case, back in the... Anyway, yes, in my case,
you know,
that's true.
Probably anything that you told me from about 1990 to,
2003?
2000 could be just gone. While the podcast
I think this may have
one is
happened in that
kind of
period.
tedious, I feel like the ones that are lies, there's a grain of truth in them somewhere.
Yeah.
And I feel there is maybe with the podcast one, but I don't think that's it.
So you're going to knock out number one, are you?
I'm knocking out number
You're
one.
knocking out number one. It's good to knock out one and then move on. It's
Yeah.
like,
Strangely, I'm kind of
it's
going to
easier.
go with a gut feeling.
Yeah.
Because again, I feel number 3 has an essence of truth to it.
Yes.
But that it's not quite right. Especially the polywaffle. I don't know. There's something about it that is close but no cigar. So
You
strangely,
don't think she's a
What do you
polywaffle
mean?
fan?
Why
or...
the polywaffle?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just never picture her as a polywaffle girl.
Oh, she's gone with her gut.
So I'm going with number 2.
Well, can I tell you, you are absolutely correct.
I do know.
And
that
I
You win
love
nothing.
you, Lucy. You do know me. You do know me well. Yes, number 3 didn't happen. It did seem familiar to you, didn't it? Because what I'd actually done was something else. I'd stolen my mother's cacti and miniature cacti with Felicity Casemore and sold them door to door.
yes.
And spent the money on polywaffles
Well, the
and
best
gators. But I
lies-
did used to eat polywaffles.
Well, I stand corrected there. But yes, the best lies always have a tiny bit of truth in them.
So I knew that, and
So
I
you
wrote
knew
that.
and Sam rewrote that School Fate one, which
because
I
I did the
brilliant.
School Fate one. I sold.
Did you?
Yeah, and it was really bad because basically I didn't have any idea for the School Fate. My dad was a teacher, and he would always set up the School Fate, and it'd go really well every year. And one time, my friend Tyron and I decided we would set up a lucky dip, and we didn't have anything to put in the lucky dip because we didn't have a fund to get us started. GoFundMe wasn't around for a fate stall back then, so we just put broken sharpeners and things in newspaper and wrap them up, set up a lucky dip. But what we didn't think about is people wouldn't take the lucky dip prize, walk away, go home and never return. That our fate ran for the whole day. So we had complaints up the wazoo all day, and we had so many complaints that my dad had to break apart 2 people that wanted to fight us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And, did you have to pay the price?
We had to pay everything back, but we'd already brought 3 caramellos, and that was pretty much all we made for the day.
Yeah.
So my dad made me break apart some of the caramello and give it to one man who was okay with it.
What, that you
Wow,
got a
he-
piece of a caramello
Piece of a
koala?
caramel
Jesus, he
koala.
was easily pleased.
Yeah,
I wonder
sad
how his
man.
life...
Oh, I'm outraged at this broken sharpener, but sure, I'll have the years off your second-hand caramello koala.
that's a good
Oh,
deal.
bloody great
I'll
this
come
is.
out of that on top.
I did it. I really fooled this young kid. I once did a show in Perth last year where the prize for this quiz show was the audience versus us in trivia, and when the audience would win, they would win a caramello, and they got ridiculously excited. It was an audience of 100, and they would get so excited about the caramello, but
Wow.
I only had one caramello.
The caramello koala?
Yeah.
Not the
so I would
caramello
break
egg.
it up.
Yeah.
No, and I would break it up into little pieces and give it to
How can you break it up into little pieces? Make a big sticky mess? It's full
We
of
did
caramel.
make a big sticky mess, but they were so excited about it, Andrea. And because Perth is quite hot, as you two would know,
Yes.
Yes.
it was melted.
Yes.
And people were still excited about it. And I
Well,
thought
that's
Perth
Perth
hasn't got a lot
for you.
going on.
Yeah, that's true.
There's not a lot to get excited about
No,
over there.
it is the most isolated city in the world. That would have been a top night out.
Can I just tell you about this?
Yeah, please do.
The transcribing story, that never happened.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even mention it. But anyway, it was good to have a dull one in there to
Sure.
throw off because it sounded true. Number 2, the one you guessed. Remember John with, I think he just had a thumb on one hand?
Oh, that's ringing a bell. Yeah.
John with half a hand.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd invited him over for sex, and as soon as he arrived, everything that came out of his mouth irritated me.
Right.
So that's who I pretended to be. to get really stoned, and then I pretended to be asleep. And I pretended to be asleep for about 6-7 hours.
Yeah, right.
So he lay next to me all night, and then eventually at 6 in the morning, I think he even tried to have another go then. I was unconscious. And then he just got up and dressed and went home.
That's a long time for you to pretend.
I was pretty determined.
Yeah. That's real
Well
determination.
done.
Thanks. Because I could have just gone, actually, I've changed my mind. Can you leave? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, but
no.
No.
Just lie there. And
Easier for 7 hours.
Much easier.
I did something similar once with a gentleman, and yeah, it was quite involved. Picked him up last minute at the lounge. Bunch of us went back. And it was just one of those unfortunate
The
things.
lounge is a
that,
comedy room, by the
Oh,
way.
is this...
well,
Not
the
your lounge room. I picked him up in the lounge.
The lounge used to be a bar.
Uh-huh.
Yes, a bar/club, really.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
it was
right.
very
And,
late night dancing, and up till 6 in the morning.
So a bunch of us went back to our place, and look, unfortunately we had no alcohol back at my house. So as we all started to sober up, similarly I realised this guy was a dick.
Yeah.
And again, though, like you, I just should have gone, well, it's been lovely chatting and everyone's going home now and goodbye. But no, we actually went to bed, and I didn't pretend to be, I think I just pretended to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Just immediately.
Yeah.
And then again, the next morning, in fact, the next morning I woke up really early
Yeah,
and
of course.
just left the room.
Oh, I woke up
went
early too. I
outside.
just refused to open my eyes for another few
Oh, well, I
hours.
You were
decided it was
unconscious.
safer to just get out of the room altogether.
Did you run into Audrey's room? Is that
No, I actually went out. We had a little disgusting back garden, which was full of rubbish. But anyway, that's another story. Seagulls used to come because
that's
it was like a
right.
tip. Anyway, I was just sitting out there, and he was also one of those people that was a bit of a dick, but was incredibly rapt to be him.
Sure.
So he was a cocky
wow.
dick, and so he was just striding
Cocky dick.
around.
Dick, yeah.
It's a great description.
He was striding around in this house where, he was a stranger just in a pair of red budgie smugglers and just
My
really
God.
delighted. And so sat down next to me outside and went, "Are you a lesbian? Is that the problem?"
Oh,
And
wow.
you know
Of
what?
course, it had
I
to be
should have just
sexual
said
orientation.
yes. Anything. I should have just, because I was kind of trying to come up with these reasons, and then I went, "No, look, the thing is, I just broke up with someone, and I think I'm just not."
Oh, you overthought it.
Lies,
Yeah.
absolute lies.
Yeah.
Just-
And you always talk more when you're lying.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Should have
Overthought
gone.
it.
I am a lesbian. I'm delighted to be a lesbian. Get out.
Yeah.
But no,
Or I can't
didn't.
stand you.
Yes.
Go away
You're
now.
awful.
Yeah.
For the love of God, put some clothes on.
You cocky
and
dick.
Fuck off.
You cocky dick.
No, didn't. And he just stayed.
Oh,
So
God.
my housemate got up, like she was a very kind of, she loved being hospitable to people. Before you know it, there's breakfast, and I'm just kind of trying to make gestures behind his back of, we've got to get rid of this guy. And then, so she's suddenly sort of onto it, and then she's gone, "Oh my God, Judith, you've got that audition. We've got to go." And so
That big audition that we forgot about until now. It's
yes.
on.
So I went into the bathroom, did the thing of running the shower, didn't even have a shower. He's still outside though. He still hasn't gone. I come out and I've gone, "Oh, I'm sorry, whatever his name is. Let's just call him Cocky Dick. Really, well, it's been lovely." And anyway, so at that point, we finally nearly had to push him out of the door. And then we just collapsed on
In the
her
hallway,
bed,
laughing on her bed.
We made it to Audrey's bedroom, and we were just pissing ourselves, and we were just going on and on about Cocky Dick and how he'd been getting around in his red jocks, and we were really, boy, were we really holding
And how
into
pleased you
him.
were to be rid of him.
And then
Oh.
we hadn't shut the front door.
Oh.
He popped back to get his jacket.
Oh.
So not a good moment.
Wow.
Not a good moment. And we just all pretended that hadn't happened.
That's fantastic.
And you were still just
obviously
getting ready for your
the
audition.
had gone really well. It had just been really quick.
Well, after the
and
fake
in my
shower.
imagination. So yeah. Yeah, I don't
That's
know. I
a
guess
great-
because we were younger, we just didn't have the guts to say, get out.
Yeah, I hate you.
Yeah. I mean, well, there's no need to be rude, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember there was a guy that came that when Jane, an old friend of Judith and I, we went down to the Prince of Wales for Monday dollar pots.
Oh, Operation Aloha.
Operation Aloha. And
You might have to explain Operation Aloha.
Oh, basically, Operation Aloha was a way to pick up guys because Monday night at the Prince of Wales back in the day, this would be 90s, used to have dollar pots on Monday nights. And so you pop down there. It was a cheap night, be full of backpackers, and you could usually pick up someone rather handsome and take them home.
Sure.
And then would be hello and goodbye.
So that's Aloha.
All right, great.
Because Aloha means hello and goodbye. And we'd sort of tempt them back because we always had vodka in the freezer and usually a bit of marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
And
Anyway.
wasn't the theory too that if you actually did wind up with a good one, you could keep in touch and maybe stay at their place when you weren't travelling overseas?
Yes,
that was really quite an
Mutually
elaborate
beneficial.
plan.
That was the idea too. I think that was Jane's idea because that never happened.
That's how couch surfing started, I think. You guys started that.
Yeah.
That's it. They were ahead of the curve.
Well, Jane had a number of successful dalliances, and I really didn't have any luck whatsoever. And one chap came back with me, and he was a German chap, and called Stefan. He was lovely. We were really having a great time. And he refused to take off his money belt when we got into bed.
and if there's one thing that'll get a little lady going,
It's a scratchy money belt.
and a
Anyway.
display of trust
Yeah.
like that.
Well, also, he didn't want to have sex with me. I ran into him years later and he told me that he was gay, so that made me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
He just wasn't out.
So
But-
it
he
was
still
kind
have
of
his
like a
money belt?
chastity belt for him.
Yeah, I guess it was, because it certainly
Like a little-
didn't...
You could read it like
Armour.
that. Yeah.
Although he was just in his underpants and the money belt.
Good look.
It is a good look. Can you picture that, listeners? A Hessian money belt and some underpants. Anyway, he came back to the house, I think, a year later and knocked on the door. I went to the top of the hall stairs and looked down at the door. It had a big glass panel. And I saw him and he saw me very clearly. And I then just went and sat back down and pretended that hadn't happened. And he
long did you
knocked
stay
again a
for?
couple more times. And Jane, my flatmate, said, "Who's that?" And I said, "Oh, it's that guy, Stefan. I don't want to see him." And she went, "Okay." And then we just ignored it. And eventually he went away. And that's when I told her I think he may have seen me. Because he did. He waved. Anyway,
Could you see his money belt from there?
no, couldn't. I could only
Taking
see
it
his
off,
face.
finally. Only his face. That's a beautiful story.
Thanks. Wasn't a great one to finish on, but, you know.
Well, if this makes you feel any better, we could finish on this one.
Yes.
Which is the one where I was staying in London with my friend Pip. And she decided to invite a minicab driver back for some sex.
So she was in the minicab. and then-
Yes, gave him her number. He rang. She instigated all of this.
Sure.
He rang. She's picked up the phone and she's gone, "Oh no!" And she's gone. She's hung up and she's gone. "He's coming over. I don't want him to come over." So of course I'm sitting there thinking, but. You gave him your number and you've now invited him over.
Oh,
so
my God.
he's come over.
She was so insane.
She has, we've all had one glass of wine and then she's gone to bed. And I am left there with the minicab driver.
The meter's running.
The
Things aren't
meter
looking
is
good.
running. And look, I'm not proud of this, but frankly, the only way I could get him out of the house was to pull him off. Was to give him a wristy, as young people say now. And really, that seemed like the only solution.
In the lounge room.
Yeah.
Did she wake up at any point,
No,
come out and see
no.
you?
These are the kinds of things girls do. Women do this shit all the time. I'm sure
He
I've
just wouldn't get
done
go
similar
this
things.
way. Anyway, so yeah, as I say, I'm not proud. Anyway, the really hilarious thing is that after
Did
that
you at least
happened-
kiss him
No,
first?
I don't think I did.
No, I don't
How did
Did
it
I?
instigate? Did you just go
Sam,
straight?
let's
No.
just,
Really?
let's just finish
Yeah,
the
right.
story off as quickly as I did him. he kept ringing after that.
Well, of course he did.
Yeah, no, but he kept ringing. Pip would generally answer the phone, and I would hear her go. Basically, he would be asking for Pip.
Yeah.
And she would always say, "No, I'm afraid Pip's not in." And then he would say, "Is the other one there?"
The other one.
He didn't even know
one.
my name.
In brackets
the one
that
with
called
no
me off.
self-esteem.
The one that needs no encouragement.
Yeah, the one that'll do
The
anything to
desperate.
get me to leave.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that is a good story.
Hey guys, that was Confessions of the Idiots. Let's leave it right there. Thank you, Andrea Powell.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Judith
for
Lucy.
having us.
Thank you, Sam.
Guys, thank you for listening to Confessions of the Idiots. Please do subscribe. Subscribe on iTunes. Please, please, please. I should stop saying please. It's a pseudoephedrine talking, not me. My mouth is moving, but it's the pseudo cloud that's making up all the words. Guys, rate it on iTunes. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Share this podcast. I'd love to get it out there to as many people as possible. Thank you to my amazing producer, Megan McRae. If you guys want to write to me, please do. I do sometimes use some of the confessions that people have sent in so far, and they are anonymous. So please do write into yeshello@theproducerboy.com. Share this podcast around with your friends and have a great week. I am going to go back to bed. Good night.